pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
How about a motion to open the meeting?
Motion to open.
Second.
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Public comment. To receive oral communications from members of the public may address the select board for up to 3 minutes. The select board shall not engage in discussion on topics raised during public comment, but may choose to add the topic to a future agenda. This agenda segment will be limited to 15 minutes unless extended at the discretion of the chairperson. Who would like to make public comment? Dana?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Dana Packer, 227 Middle Road. I know that we've been working on a Veterans Committee now for quite some time, and I sent you folks a letter on Thursday, and I'm gonna rescind my request to form that committee. And I just wanna read the letter to the public so everybody knows what's going on. And I'm canceling my request to have the town of Newbury create a Newbury Veterans Committee. I'm not sure where there's been a reluctance to do this. It appears that the board truly does not have a desire to do so in support of the Newbury veterans. I'm gonna continue to move forward with establishing a nonprofit in support of Newbury veterans. Our mission statement has not changed. Everything that we have set out to accomplish, we will continue to do. The Newbury veterans, Frank Bertolino, and I uphold the highest standards of integrity, honesty, ethics, and respect for others. These values will remain central to our conduct as we progress. I want to thank you for your time in this matter. Sincerely, Dana Packer and Frank Bertolino. And I think one of my reasons for the decision is I think I can probably move forward faster, going in the other direction and just doing it on, without being underneath the town's umbrella. So that's why I've made the decision.
Thank you, Dana.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Dana. So I think we'll put that Dana's letter under correspondence and for the next select board meeting, which is gonna be what? 24th?
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Dana.
Thank you. Thanks, Dana.
Anyone else? Brett, haven't seen you for a bit.
It's been a while.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you guys as well. My name is Brett Alger. I live at 71 Pearson Drive in Byfield. My comments will be brief. I recognize that the select board has not formally received a Triton budget for next year, and it's not on your agenda. But I'm raising concerns both on process and priorities in hopes that you'll be able to step forward in whatever way you can to address a couple of issues. It was looking back, it was 2 years ago, almost to the day I stood in front of you and the school committee as, important programs and services were being cut. The two that came to mind from 2 years ago were the loss of our STEM services mid-school year and then the complete, reduction of that during the budgeting process, mental health support services. There's a long list, unfortunately. Last year, though, as you guys all know, I was helping pass an override that helped NES hire new teachers and other support staff, which was just less than 6 months ago. But as I look at the current draft budget developed by the school committee, the previous cuts aren't even remotely close to being included, and it would seem that some of the people that we just hired are potentially set to be let go. That seems really backwards to me. It doesn't pass the red face test. And the draft budget appears to impact Raleigh the most. I've heard that their select board has even, alluded to the idea that they would pass an override this year for the budget or in 2 years for the school, but not both. And so I hope that's untrue. Surely I believe that we can walk and chew gum. As I stated at our town meeting last year, the public school buildings and the employees and students that go there 5 days a week are our most important assets. Our public education system should be at the top of every priority list in all 3 towns. So what am I asking? I'm asking, and I don't know about process here, that the select board encourages, requires, cajoles, influence, the school committee to develop a budget, that includes their full list of needs, that starts from a ceiling and works down rather than starting at a floor and trying to grasp at what little resources, towns are willing to provide. Newbury clearly identified and funded priorities last year, so I can't support the idea that just 6 months later, those needs have changed that drastically. And so if another override is needed in Rowley or Newbury or Salisbury or all three, so be it. The select board, my second request or my suggestion would be that, you guys as an elected body, as a senior, executive body, that you lead in this space and that you identify, discuss, and address any attempt to sort of pit a school building, against kids. I just think that is, fundamentally wrong. So I'll be attending the school committee tomorrow, sharing a very similar message. I appreciate your hard work and leadership in moving Triton forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. May I just make a suggestion to you also?
Sure.
Both Patrick and I sit on the DCC, and it's a motivated discussion group that goes over the matters that are most important to what the school can do in their informational, the information that they provide as far as what the state's involvement is. It's open, you can come and sit in. It will be Thursday evening in Rowley.
No, it's in
No, it's at the
Triton, it
high
was
school.
Oh,
changed.
it's right, it's in Triton, 'cause it's at Triton. But you're more than welcome to attend and observe the discussion, and people are welcome to ask questions.
I appreciate that.
Brett, we can't really
But that's all I have to say.
depth on this stuff, but an excellent presentation, excellent concerns, valid concerns. I think if I'm not mistaken, Tracy, you got preliminary information Thursday about what the proposed cuts might be, so we'll do our job.
Yeah.
We're watching.
Fair enough. I appreciate it. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you for coming,
Absolutely.
standing up there.
Thank you, Brett.
So, I would make mention though, and I'm very pro schools. 50 years ago, I was an elementary school teacher, my master's is in education. Probably overrides every year unsustainable for any town. Our problem is in this town is that we're not getting, what, are we zero on new growth?
70,000.
So, planning board, we're gonna have to start to build some houses, or we're gonna have to really go after some commercial development. Because we don't have the tax rate sustainable. We have a low tax, that tax rate would get high very quickly. So, it's time probably to look ahead where we have such a very small, I think my son said it to me not too long ago. We're the only one going down Route 1 without commercial development. And we always say, we don't have any water. You know what? It's probably times with the way they build new toilets and everything else. Doesn't take much water to have a used car district. We gotta look into this. So I think it's something that I'd like to address going forward in the spring. Maybe someone else join me.
Sure,
But it's time.
and we can have some agenda
mean-
activity on this, Jeff.
It is,
When some
it's
of the real.
our industrial
We can have some-
corridor.
When some of the real high-end building was going on, which still does, but, DePiro built some beautiful houses, and people would say, well, they're too, you know what? They were great for the tax base. So,
And I'm just, Mr. Chair, just entertain me for one moment.
Sure.
The Commonwealth of Massachusetts truly, and I believe this with every inch of my bones, has stepped away from its obligation to public education. And it's pushing it back on small communities like ours, where we have a $25 million operating budget. 3 communities, small communities, have to fund a $52 million a year school. The school needs it, and the town needs it. The Commonwealth has it. They choose not to spend it on us, and it drives me crazy. So,
Alicia's very passionate about that. It's an excellent point. What Chapter 70 funds have come to the town, it looks like a flatline patient, okay? And in fact, I think there's a meeting scheduled on March 5th now with Bruce Tarr and everyone. But that's not gonna do anything to help us this year.
This year, right.
Okay, it's not gonna do anything this year.
Also, I did receive another letter that the select board signed, was over 1,000, they were looking for 1,000 signatures, small communities like ours that need help from the state. And they're looking to double it now to 2,000, they wanted us to look at, I don't know if you saw it, I don't know, look at other boards and committees in our small towns and see if they would sign on to this letter. I'm going to personally forward it to the finance committee, the school committee, I think the school committee might have signed, but other boards and committees, and ask them to sign, because there's power in numbers.
Well, why does it have to be just committees? Well, I mean, I would think like people like Brett would be glad to sign something
I
like
can find
that.
you a lot of signatures.
You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
forward it to you, Brett.
You know?
You may have already signed it, but
And Alicia, what do you think the changes are of any,
not this year, it's not gonna help us this year.
in the future? We've heard it for so long and
It's
watched
all
it.
about changing the formula of how the money gets distributed, and we're a rich community, we're allegedly a rich community, so we can afford to pay
The
all
wealth
this money.
component. It just doesn't look at Prop 2.5.
So
Yeah.
we've got, I mean, I know this is gonna come up later in the agenda, to talk about the DCC, and we can give a readout of how the last meeting went, but I do think we have tonight, we have tomorrow, and then we have a DCC on Thursday, cause tomorrow is the school committee actually taking a vote, so. Yeah, nothing we can do tonight except to try and make a difference in what happens tomorrow, I think.
Yeah,
Budget season is always fun.
Yeah,
yeah. So Brett can get a lot of signatures. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else, citizen concerns? Okay, I'm not gonna have any remarks from the chair tonight, no remarks. Grants, gifts, and donations. The acceptance of the Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Program grant of $100,000. This was, some work that Mason Ferrick did an excellent job on. So we need a motion.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone
Congratulations, Nathan.
Anyone-
Yeah,
anyone
Mason,
opposed?
well done.
opposed? Anyone abstaining? None. Thank you. Acceptance on behalf of the Newbury Council on Aging, $6,000 from the Friends of the Newbury Council on Aging.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Abstaining? None. New business. Public property use request by UCAN Sports LLC via Zoom. Is that gonna be Rich Morel?
Yeah.
Okay. Annual road race on Sunday, June 28th, 2026, and Sunday, July 19th, 2026, and Sunday, September 27th, 2026, each event occurring between 8 AM and 11 AM. Races begin and end in Newburyport, but will travel down Scotland Road onto Highfield Road and turn around on Livingston Lane in Newbury.
Motion to accept the public property use request from Yukon Sports.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Morrell, are you gonna use any paint on our roads or chalk?
No, we don't put anything on the roads. We do put up signs, arrows to direct the runners along the route, but nothing on the roads.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
How many participants do you expect?
We do a 5K and a half marathon in each of those dates. The 5K will be about 250 and the half marathon will be about 500.
Great. Thank you.
Any other discussion points? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone
Good luck.
anyone opposed? Abstaining? Hearing none. Congratulations, thank you for doing this.
Good luck with your
Thanks so
events.
much. I appreciate it.
Next is a public property use request for Ride to End ALZ, New England. Annual race on Saturday, June 6, 2026, from 8 AM to 11 AM. The race will travel on Scotland Road into Newburyport, then returning to Newbury on High Road to Hanover Street, Green Street, Hay Street, Newman Road to High Road, and into Rowley. So could I have a motion?
Motion to accept.
Second.
Any discussion?
Is this
Is this Emily?
Yeah.
Come on up.
This is not Emily.
Not Emily.
I was hiding in the back.
Thank you for being here.
No, thank you all for having me. I'm Ethan Packer. This is my second year putting this event on. I believe this is our 30th year this year, so we're very excited for that. We're really not expecting any changes this year from what we've done in the past. We won't be using any paint. We're just doing signage as well. We're expecting about 500 people again this year, and really just looking for a great time on June 6th. Very, little impact. We'll have 10 support vans going around as well, and we'll have police support as well.
Ethan, thanks for explaining all that stuff. Any questions? Do we have a motion?
Quick question. Oh, you want a motion?
Did we have a motion?
Yeah, we have a
do.
We have a
motion.
motion, okay, go
Quick
ahead.
question first. How far in advance do you post your signs to let the people that will be impacted on the route during those particular times?
So we do, on a normal year-to-year basis, 1 to 2 days in advance. Our signage is mostly directional signage for our riders, just to make sure that they're not taking any wrong turns there. We did start putting out some advisory signage last year, and we put that out, I believe I put that out 4 days in advance, to let people know.
Thank you.
Any other discussion points? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed or abstaining? Hearing none. Thank you very much for doing this. It's a very worthy cause.
Good luck
Good
with your
luck.
event.
Jeff, you might want to recuse yourself.
June 6th.
Don't we have another public property?
One more.
Oh, we
Yeah.
do. Sorry, Jeff.
Emily.
You saw the word Emily and you did what I did.
Yeah, all right. Thank you. Public property use request from Emily Michaud via Zoom. There's Emily. Events manager for ALS Therapy Development Institute for the Tri-State Trek on Saturday, June 27th, 2026, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The races will enter from West Newbury via South Street onto Main Street and continuing into Georgetown.
I move to accept the public property use request.
Any discussion points, questions?
Gonna ask the same question, Emily. How many participants and how far in advance do you notify people en route?
Of course, we have about 250 cyclists, but they come in about 5 to 10 at a time. It's pretty spread out. We only put up temporary arrows. We put it about a week and a half in advance, and then we'll have a cleanup crew that comes through right after to take down all the arrows and zip ties as well. No paint or chalk on the streets. And it's just the one street that we're coming through.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstaining? Hearing none. Now we can get to the zoning board
Good
of
luck with your
appeals.
event,
Yeah,
Emily.
thank you very much.
Thank you so
Good
much.
luck.
Should I stay on through the town approval
Nope.
later in the meeting?
You are all set, Emily.
You don't have to. I mean, if you want to, you can.
I just didn't know if I had to do it again. First time. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Bye-bye.
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 Okay, next is the zoning board of appeals, associate member appointment, Joshua Walker, 3-year term.
Would you like me to come up and say a few words, or how does
Well,
it work?
first, let's have a motion, a second, and then we'll have a
I
discussion.
move to appoint to the zoning board of appeals.
Second.
All right, discussion. Josh,
Sorry.
come up, introduce yourself,
Procedure, but
name and
you have
address.
to bear with me, cause I, don't have my glasses, unless anyone has any weak readers. But, select board, just a couple words, of why I'd like to do this. I was born and raised in Newbury. I've lived here, most of my entire life. Care deeply about protecting what makes Newbury special, its character, heritage, and the land and water that define the town. Professionally, I've spent over 20 years building and leading brands. I'm a co-founder of Burn Helmets and 1620 Workwear, and I understand what it takes to operate and grow a business locally in a responsible way. I also know what the drivers of interest are for small companies that are emerging, to find locations for their businesses. Earlier in my career, I worked as a policy analyst in the Massachusetts House of Representatives on environmental legislation and municipal impacts. That experience shaped how I think about cost to taxpayers and long-term consequences versus the very real need for growth in most communities. I wanna serve because I care a lot about the town. I love it here, and I'm here to stay, and hopefully you guys approve.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Josh. Any questions?
I don't have a question, I just have a statement.
Yes.
Thank you for coming and being in front of us. When somebody is nominated for an appointment, I always find I like to have a face to put with the name.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad that you came here tonight.
I appreciate learning a lot. I know you guys do a lot of work, and it's important work. A lot goes on in a small town just because I've been privy to it for a number of years, third party, so.
Thank you, Josh. This is a very important board. I think the ZBA is one of the most important boards that we have in the town, so.
And you followed up nicely on your father's talk about expansion of business here, bringing business here, which is nice. So we have high expectations for you, okay? Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstaining? Hearing none. Josh, congratulations.
Welcome aboard.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Happy to see you there.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing this, Josh.
Appreciate it, yeah.
Well done, Josh. Thank you.
Thanks, good seeing you. Thank you very much. I'll follow up about meetings and times and stuff. You guys don't need me any longer here tonight, correct?
No.
Not unless you want to stay.
I'm gonna stay a little while.
Okay. Our friend.
We have the business license renewals.
What's the cutoff on that
What cutoff?
for business license renewals?
There is no cutoff.
There is no cutoff, okay.
Okay, review and approve 2026 business license renewals. Retail food / common vittler / crafts / gifts. J.R. Colby and Elizabeth Knight. Common Pastures LLC, doing business as Colby Farm at 50 Scotland Road.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. No discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Abstaining? None. Passed. Next is Salon / Spa. Haley Leary, doing business as Wicked Wax and Skin LLC at 65 Newburyport Turnpike.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstaining? Hearing none, it's passed. Next is the zoning, proposed zoning bylaw amendments to table of use, regulations, addition of Article 11, clean energy facilities, and addition of inclusionary zoning bylaw. Bylaw, not bylaw. Bylaw.
Oops, typo.
Article 2, use districts, Article 3, regulation of use districts, Article 4, regulation of overlay districts, Article 5, special permits, Article 6, dimensional regulations, Article 7, parking, Article 8, signs, Article 9, site plan review, Article 10, general regulations, addition of new Article 11, clean energy facilities, Article 12, formerly 11, administration, attachment 4, table of use regulations, addition of inclusionary zoning bylaw. So what I'd like to do is to have a motion for this in a second, and then we can have discussion, and Woody and Kristen can then do their thing.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I move that the vote to refer these amendments back to the planning board for a public hearing.
Second.
Okay, discussion. Woody, what would you like to say?
Hello, everyone. Everyone's been working hard at this. It's the second year of the recodification that Martha's been working on. So I just have a quick little spiel explaining what's been going on for you guys so you have a better understanding. The proposed zoning amendments include revisions to certain bylaws needed to comply with state and legal requirements, as well as revisions recommended as phase 2 of the zoning recodification project that Special Projects Planner Martha Taylor has been working with town council, planning board members, zoning board members, the building commissioner, the planning department and other staff, town staff over the past 8 months. This reclarification project has been identified as a priority goal in the planning department's annual work plan and budget detail for several years. In addition to staff work group meetings, the planning board discussed needed revisions and possible updates to the Newbury zoning bylaw at 5 of their regularly scheduled meetings held in July, October of last year, and then two in January and one on February 4th. All these meetings are available for viewing on the town's YouTube channel. On February 4th, by unanimous vote, the planning board requested that the select board consider the proposed zoning bylaw amendments for public hearing process leading to the annual town meeting. Tonight, we are here to request that you take a vote to submit the proposed zoning amendments back to the planning board for public hearing as required by Mass General Law 40A-5. If anyone has any questions on anything in particular, Kristen's available. Kristen's over here, she's been working hard as well with Martha. And if there aren't any questions, then the time for deep dive questions would be when we have our public hearing.
Thank you, that's what I was about to say. Krista, did you want to add anything before I give my speech?
Sure, yeah. I mean, unless you wanna go first.
Let me do the speech, okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, tonight is not the night to delve into the details of all of this package. The package was provided for us to look at, to understand if we want to, delve into it as deeply as we want to. I think what you should do is look at it. If you're interested in anything particular, go to the public hearing. That's the time to get into the weeds, to ask those questions about any concern you have or any concern any of your constituents have, okay? Kristen,
Okay. Thank you.
Woody, thanks very much.
I'll be brief.
Thanks, Woody. So, thank you, Bill, thank you, Woody. The planning board really has been working very hard on this. It's a lot of weeds, you have a lot of paper on your pile. So I wanted to just give a sort of brief overview. There are 4 kind of buckets that we're gonna be looking at for this year's town meeting. I should say, I'm Kristen Grubbs, planning director, also resident at 28 Elm Street, so
Thank you.
I'm glad to be here tonight. So, as Woody explained, number 1, which will be the first warrant article that the town considers at town meeting, is a big bucket. It covers all of those different sections of the zoning bylaw that Bill read and that are shown on the agenda. So those amendments are the result of a high-level overview of the entire zoning bylaw, and they're focused on internal inconsistencies, places where things reference something else, but it's not consistent because there's been a change. So that level of overview, organizational changes, moving sections of the bylaw around to be more cohesive and easier for people to read, easier for people to understand. And then the sort of third category is making sure with town council's support that we are compliant with state statute, with regulations, with case law. And then I guess the last one is just language that's confusing or unclear, trying to clarify things that the planning board has faced. So that's a big bucket. The entire, any change will be bold italic in the script of the bylaw, and that will all be available. I do wanna make note tonight that it's still being given a final review by town council. So what you received in your packet last week, there will be some updates and modifications to those changes. All of that will be available for the public in advance of the public hearing. The second warrant article that will be on town meeting, assuming this all moves forward after the public hearing, is related to the table of use regulations. So that's attachment 4 of the zoning bylaw that says how different uses throughout the town are permitted and by what body. The third is, as I mentioned before, largely a reorganization. There's been a solar bylaw on the town's bylaw for many years. There's been a wind energy bylaw. The state is asking towns to add a battery storage bylaw. So what we've done is gather those all up together and put them under a new header of clean energy facilities amendments. So that'll be the third request for town meeting to review. And then the fourth and final for this year's town meeting will be an amendment related to continuing the work on our housing production plan and affordable housing in particular. We're proposing what's called an inclusionary zoning bylaw, which is essentially trying to incentivize developers to build more affordable housing units in town. And that has also been something that's been a priority in the master plan for many years. And, you know, is consistent with some of the other housing work we've done, multifamily housing and accessory dwelling units, and now we're looking at incentivizing affordable housing. So those are the four categories. Again, what happens next is Martha and I are finalizing the review with town council this week. There will be a planning board meeting on Thursday morning to set the date of the public hearing. We anticipate that to be March 4th. So the first Wednesday in March, regular planning board meeting time. I believe that'll be on Zoom, so everyone can attend and participate as they're available. The legal notice for that will be in the newspaper next week and the following week, and all the materials will be available at the town clerk or in the planning office, as well as on the website as of Tuesday next week.
All the bases are covered.
Yeah.
So yeoman's share of work here. A lot of work was done by your groups, collective groups, and with Martha's help, et cetera.
Absolutely.
So it's a significant package, comprehensive package. So having heard Woody and Kristen, does anyone have any question about the process of putting this out to back to the planning board for the public hearing?
I have like a little bit of an inquiry on the release of the information to the public for most beneficial way for them to understand it, in more like in small doses versus an overall package, so that, you know, they can reread, digest, and then move on to the next chapter, let's just say.
Yeah.
Because I think anybody coming in, it's pretty overwhelming.
What does that mean, Leslie?
Yeah, what are
Is
you
it
asking?
several meetings to
No,
do it
not
in
several,
small
but
chunks, or?
releasing it onto the website for informational purposes. So that people can take advantage of educating themselves prior to, you know, a big public meeting, and to prepare their questions.
Yeah, my note said, the note I took said that that's exactly what they're gonna do. Someone doesn't have to, it'll be available on the website. You said small doses. I'm not sure. Someone can only select category 1 or 4 if they want and focus on that and then do the rest, but the whole package will be on the website.
Yeah, I think if you don't put the whole package on, it would be confusing to
Yeah.
residents.
Yeah, I appreciate that question because it is overwhelming. We do, you know, by the statute, have to include the entire package. Again, new language is bold italic and strikeout language is a double strike through. So that will all be there, but it's a huge lift to understand every section. So we will be the organization at the moment is structured in those 4 categories that I just went through. And we will also be preparing like PowerPoint slides and a 1-pager about the inclusionary zoning, 1-pager about the clean energy. So we will be sort of aggregating the content of the changes and trying to summarize it in more user-friendly language.
For the
I
public
just look
hearing?
at it, you hate to lose the audience.
Are you talking about for the public hearing?
For the
or-
public hearing, we
Okay.
will prepare those materials, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And Leslie, you're right, could be an overwhelming package. But I think the approach with the slides, that for someone who's not interested in looking to see how the I is dotted, the aggregate package of slides might be very helpful in terms of the intent of what it's all
Exactly.
about. And just so you'll know, on February 25th, I think I'm going to an affordable housing meeting with a group of citizens, concerned citizens. So I'll let you know what I learn. I'm going there to be educated, not to,
Where's that taking place, Bill?
it was by invitation,
Oh, okay.
so.
To be honest, I kind of thought the same thing that Leslie said at home, I'm saying, and then I'm realizing to myself, we're passing it on for a public hearing. Are you going to include the breakdowns of the intentions of each bucket, like you just said, on the website? Or are you gonna wait to have that at the, public hearing?
The memo we provided you, which essentially breaks down as I just described, will be on the website
That's
if it's not already. So that's a starting point. It'll probably take us some time to get the slides finalized, but as soon as they are, we'll attach those to the website as
Like I
well.
said, you were going to explain each bucket ahead of time, and that's gonna be on the website.
Yes, it is.
Good.
And there currently is a page on the planning department webpage that says proposed zoning amendments, so you can go there and see these buckets in written language at the moment, but we'll be updating that.
Once this meeting is uploaded, you might even just throw a link to this, cause your description there
For sure.
was, I looked at this and then you described them
It's
like, alright, now I
overwhelming.
get it, so, I mean,
Yeah.
if we just said that would probably help a lot of people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great idea, yeah,
This
I'll do
is the
that.
second year of us trying, I remember last year at town meeting, we made some bylaw cleanup.
This is
Thanks.
phase 2.
Yes.
This is phase 2, is there a phase 3?
Answer that question yesterday.
Let's get through this one, Alicia,
I
come
know,
on.
but I'm curious, is there a phase 3?
My answer is,
Maybe.
we are not planning a phase 3. This is like the most thorough review of things that have been sort of on people's minds for years.
Yeah.
However, zoning, I can't help but say, is a living document,
Yes.
so there will probably always be some zoning amendments in the future, but it'll be hopefully new initiatives like
but
energy or housing,
the
or it'll
review-
be
the
small cleanup things.
Review and cleaning up things, conflicting bylaws and all that stuff, is that?
This should be phase 2 completion on that,
Thank you.
until we find the next thing that
Problem.
needs cleaning up. Yeah. From what we know now, this is the
Yeah.
finalization of that recodification project, yeah.
Okay.
Any other
Thank you.
discussion points? Hearing none, all in favor of passing, of the approving the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Abstaining? Hearing none. Congratulations, nice work, nice piece of work.
Good luck with your public hearing.
Thank you. Hope to
Thank you
see
both.
there.
I
for coming.
appreciate your hard work. I remember sitting in on some of that, and, not this particular, but it is and Jeff, you know that too. It is a long, long process.
Okay, town administrators report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So as you know, this time of year, we're beginning our annual budget process, and it's gonna take up most of the next few months. Already, as you mentioned, setting up to be a very challenging year. We are facing here in Newbury declining growth, rising healthcare costs, increasing materials and supply costs, significant requests for additional personnel that we've just been deferring year after year. We're challenged with providing competitive wages, particularly in the area of public safety services. We're a training ground. It's been pretty consistent over the last few years where we train and then people move on to higher paying jobs in other surrounding communities. Preliminary indications for new growth is only about $70,000, as you mentioned. Overall growth, Prop 2.5. Any increases in estimated receipts like motor vehicles, permitting, meals taxes, those types of things our total new growth is only estimated at about $750,000. That's it.
I often wonder how much I can't think of the term of it.
Short-term rental.
Short-term rental might add to it when that kicks in.
That's in there.
Wow.
Yep, that's in there. So the bottom line is our cost increases across the board are outpacing our revenue growth. I know you're all very much aware of the fact that we rely very heavily on our property taxes to fund our entire operations. We don't have a significant commercial tax base to
Josh, you're
assist
listening
with
to
that.
this, right?
I'm taking notes.
Yeah. So, we're definitely gonna have our work cut out for us this year, so, I look forward to working with you and hearing more about what your priorities are and what strategies we can, enlist to try and balance the budget, cause it will be a challenge. But we wanna try to keep providing the same level of services to our residents that they've enjoyed, educational levels certainly included in the very
That's gonna
high
be
on our
challenging.
list. But it's this year, and I think you all had an opportunity to read the MMA's report. This is not a surprise, we've been talking about it, I think this is probably our third year we've been talking about it, we saw this coming.
Is the cherry sheets, when do those come out?
They're already out,
And did we get anything additional?
very small increase,
Very small.
very small.
But it was spread out a little bit more evenly throughout, wasn't it?
Depends on who you ask. I don't think so, but Massachusetts typically, we're low. I mean, when you look at across the United States, Mass is very low in terms of what they give for unrestricted aid to their communities, so.
Is the
That was-
operational budget of the town up that much because of insurance this year?
Yeah, our insurance is up double digits, but see, we struggle with the same thing, so our insurances are up about 13%, but Triton's insurances are gonna be up that amount, so are Whittier's insurances, and so, we're all, those budget busters are across the district and the other communities, so.
And the MMA, they call out the lack of the UGA increase support. That's a big problem across the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth stepping back from its obligation to its communities, its public education, all of it, infrastructure, all of it, all of it.
It's, it's early in the budget process and we're right now all looking at worst case scenarios, but,
They're scary.
this has been the worst since I've been here for sure, so. Annual town meeting again being held on Tuesday, May 5th, a little bit of a change there, so we'll keep promoting that, 7 p.m. at the Triton Auditorium. Election season is also upon us, nomination papers are available in the town clerk's office, the positions available, there are two 3-year select board seats currently held by William F. DeMayo and Leslie Matthews. A seat on the Board of Assessors for a 3-year term, currently held by Sandy Weschler. Position, 3-year term for the Board of Health, held by Steve Fram. We have a 4-year constable term, currently held by Charles Colby Jr. A Fish Commissioner position, 3 years, held by Jeffrey Janvern. We have two 3-year library trustee terms, Patricia Olson and Richard Passeri. The moderator's position is a 3-year term held by Richard Bazigan, a 5-year planning board position held by Peter Pecos. Tree warden is a 3-year term currently held by Timothy Lamprey. There is 1 seat on the regional school committee, 3-year term held by Paul Mayette. And 1 trustees of the First Settlers Burial Ground position, again, a 3-year term held by Anthony John Matthews Jr. So nomination papers are available in the town clerk's office for those positions, anyone interested. Newbury, you already mentioned the $100,000 MVP 2.0 grant. We're very excited about that. The conservation agent, Mason Farrick, wrote it in concert with the planning department. Very well done. We're excited about that. They're utilized primarily to support local climate resilience and planning initiatives, updating resilience plans, identifying areas and residents most impacted by climate change, and advancing actionable strategies to address flooding, heat, and any other types of climate risks.
That's put out in 2 separate payments, correct? So I understand the last one for completion. The first one is to do the work, and then.
Well, they'll start out by hiring a consultant will be the first step. We haven't even had a kickoff meeting yet, so we just found out last week. I think it was last week we just got
I mean, that's
notification.
good that the planning board in Mason, because I'm in the environmental sector and we usually pick up a grant or 2, and we didn't get anything this year.
Wow.
So it's tight out there.
Mm.
So it's good.
Just a reminder that the DCC meeting, the location has changed. It's Thursday, February 12th at 6:30, and it's now going to be held in the Triton High School Library, not in the town of Raleigh. And as you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, the meeting on Thursday, March 5th at 6:30 p.m. Will include members of our legislative delegation. I believe that one's in Salisbury?
Yes.
Salisbury,
What was
yeah.
the date of that?
March 5th.
March
March
5th, March 5th. You may have seen a lot of National Grid trucks in the area lately. They are working on their advanced metering infrastructure installation project, also known as AMI. They're installing electric smart meters into homes and businesses of all their customers. And it's supposed to help providing faster real-time readings, help with conservation efforts, and enhanced outage monitoring and storm response. So they'll be around for a bit. Also, the Riverbank Revival at the Larkin Dam site is going to be held on Tuesday, March 17th from 10 to 12, and then from 1 to 3. They're looking for volunteers to meet in the parking lot here at 12 Kent Way to bring the Parker River back to life by planting native dogwood and willow live stakes along the riverbank where the Larkin Dam was removed and all the areas that were disturbed. There will be project partners who will kind of lead the initiative. Their goals are restoring habitat, stabilizing the riverbank, and supporting fish and wildlife as the river continues to recover from the work that occurred. Tools and instruction will be provided, so everyone's welcome and nobody needs to have any experience, but everybody should have boots. So
Boots and gloves.
yes, so we hope to have a big group of people that day. And just a shout out to the DPW, they've been doing an amazing job, storm after storm. I know we're gonna probably get some more.
It was starting to snow when I came
Was
in.
it? Yeah, but we are still looking for plow drivers, so anyone that's interested, please contact the DPW department.
Tracy, if I'm not mistaken, I think our school committee rep to Whittier, her term is up this year as well, but that's not an elected position, it's appointed.
Oh, that's appointed.
Appointed,
Right in the
right.
points that though.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Tomorrow.
Joanna True.
Joanna True.
Joanna.
Thanks, Tracy.
You're welcome.
Review and approve of, meeting updates. Patrick,
Do you wanna go first? You want me to go first?
Jump in, Patrick.
So it was a contentious DCC. I'll just start off by saying that. But I'll talk about the nice things first. So it was the 29th. This actually came up, I think, in a letter, but the Special Olympics Unified Champions School, Triton was named a Special Olympics Unified
that was
Champions
very
School.
cool.
One of only 17 in Massachusetts and one of 200 something in the US. So
Wow,
I thought
yeah.
that was really great. That's just an impressive program. The building project, the OPM contract has been signed. In end of April, should move into phase 3. So looking at spring of 2028 for town meeting vote and election vote on.
Spring
that's
of
almost-
2028.
Spring of 2028, we're looking at that. If everything goes
Yeah.
smoothly. Budget, MLC, minimum local contribution, small increase this year for Newbury. At the same time, the foundational enrollment for Newbury is down 9,
Is it just 9?
just 9, so it's
9%.
Nine kids, right?
nine kids, I think,
kids.
literally 9 kids, yeah.
High school was
Yeah,
up
percent of
one.
1.4%, 1.5% of, in terms of percentage, but 9 actual kids. So, and the net being that, so Newbury and Salisbury would see, if everything stayed the same, which of course nothing stays the same, Newbury and Salisbury would both see a decline or a decrease in their net assessment. Salisbury would see an increase in the net assessment. Again, that's kind of fake because nothing ever stays the same. That's not even level services or even level budget. Everything still changes. Minimal, very minimal, increase in the amount of money coming from the state, and an estimated net around like $40,000, which is not
Yeah, the
net.
percentage
It's
level
not,
was
it's, yeah.
crazy.
Your favorite chapter 70, and then the special ed transportation, still live issues, with the state. What made it contentious, and this is what, where we are sort of now, is Rowley, the select board and the school committee members both explicitly said, they can't be, they cannot support doing an override this year and then support a new school building in 2028.
They basically just came out and said, we're not doing it.
Right. And said that operational costs have to be cut, and that the town, Rowley simply cannot. That on paper, again, the sort of the imaginary, if everything were equal, changes was a net increase to Rowley of 400,000. Even if it's a level services budget, it's actually gonna be higher than that. So the school committee is in a position now where they vote tomorrow on a tentative budget. And one of the
That's the high water mark, excuse me, that's the high
right,
water mark.
that's the high water mark,
Okay.
and that's where the challenge I think for us is, because when they pass if they pass a tentative budget tomorrow, right, that's the high water mark.
Right,
So they can't then, after hearing, because they'll have a public hearing,
right,
and then after that, they can't then go back and say, okay, based on input from the public, we don't want to cut teachers, we don't wanna cut staff, we don't want whoever, so we're gonna raise, they can't. That high water mark is the max that they can go to. And that current high water mark includes cuts across the board, essentially. So the question is, from my position, coming at this, again, as a new person on the select board, but coming at it from the way I see it, the school committee's job is not to decide what's best for the town, it's to decide what's best for the students
Right.
and schools. So while I understand where Rowley is coming from, certainly, I get it, on the other hand, that's not the school committee's job. So they should be saying, this is what we need,
from the towns to meet the needs of the school and the kids. And then it's our job to come back and say, this is what the towns can actually afford, this is what we can do, this is what can work, and then come down to whatever that number is, presuming we're coming down, but I mean. But if we start here, if we start at a high water mark that's already lower than what we think is appropriate, and more importantly, what, you know, the members of the school committee think is appropriate, then we're immediately saying, we're coming into this with, sorry, let me back up. If we agree that that high water mark is where it is, that tentative budget is where it is, then we're telling the school committee members, all of them, and again, they all, well, 3 of them are from Newbury, all of them are elected by everybody. So we all voted for the Raleigh and the Salisbury school committee members. So we're basically telling them, set the high water mark low. And I think we should be saying the opposite. We should be saying, set that high water mark where you think it should be for the kids and for the schools, and let the select boards do the job of saying, we need to bring that number down. And that vote is tomorrow, and
Yeah,
so.
that's backwards, I don't understand why that
It
is.
is backwards.
And the public hearing isn't until after they've already voted on essentially the high water mark.
Why is that?
Has it always been like
I
that?
suspect it might have always
You
been
guys
like
have
that, I
been,
don't know.
you run DCC
Yeah.
past years, both of you, right?
Yeah.
Has it always been like that?
I
The
think,
timing-
I think what we're looking at right now is that each one of these regional towns is looking at increased budgetary deficits, I guess you could say. You know, we're all looking at, like you said, insurance and this and that and the other thing. So it's, everybody's just wondering where the next dollar
No,
is gonna come from.
my question is that process that he's just described.
I recall the
Of setting the
process,
bar and then have a public hearing and not being able to set the bar.
I recall the process was that, and I was on school council, so I was on school council, and then I've been intimately involved in the schools. Each individual school, the 3 elementary schools, the middle and the high school, has call it an open mic night, for lack of a better word. When they go and they plead their case, we need 17 more teachers, we need to have more books, we need to have this, that, and the other thing. And they give the school committee and the administration their wish list.
Right.
And then from that is what the district, the superintendent's office and the school budget director takes all of that and says, well, you know, we can afford this, we can't afford that. This is what we feel will provide an adequate education for the students of Triton. And that's the budget they're supposed to put together and present to the school committee. But my recollection is they had the public hearing before they voted for the high water mark. I can remember going
They
to,
put the number out there, and then there's still that pressure where you still need the 2 towns.
You need the,
And the
and
2
it has to
towns
go to the ballot
in the
too.
last years has had enough, you know, ability to, let's say, change the direction of how that, so that's how that's changed over the years. You're not gonna get any wish if you can't get the 2 towns anyway.
right,
I think
So
Melissa,
they're
what
not
you
wasting their time.
one thing you said there was that's exactly the way the process works, where the principals of the schools themselves come and say, this is what we need.
Right.
This is our wish list.
right.
And then, as you said, then the superintendent says, well, this is what, you know, we can afford. It's that piece right there that's backwards. Because that wish list essentially should be what the school committee votes on and says, this is our tentative budget. And it's this high. And now the superintendent needs to work with the towns and figure out where that's gonna come down to. But instead, a lot of that work happens in advance of a public meeting, but also in advance of, and in some ways I understand completely why, because of the history that Jeff just laid out, is that, you know, we've had these override votes and you still have to get 2 out of the 3 towns. So it makes sense that the superintendent would have a half an eye or more on what is it that the towns can really afford. The problem is we're now in a situation where we're going into a override last year, potentially another override this year, and in 2 years, we're looking at the school, new school. But on top of all that, we've got to process this backwards in the sense that we're not setting the high water mark and coming down to it. Instead, we're setting a ceiling too low and before the public even has a chance to really.
So by setting the ceiling too low, they can still start shaving things back off.
But not adding anything on. So in the event that the school committee hears from the public, we don't want these cuts, we do support having an override or whatever it's gonna take, they actually can't then raise that bar up again.
Which doesn't make any
It
sense to
doesn't
me.
make, I fully agree, it doesn't.
One of the things you said though, as far as like, you know, your description, the open mic night, I think the downside of that is that people aren't getting engaged into that anymore.
Leslie, these are all public meetings, they're all open to the
I
public,
understand
they're
that
all
part of
posted.
it. Oh, I understand
you
that.
have a
It's
child
getting
in the
people to be
school-
engaged in it.
If you had a child in the school, you're engaged.
No, not necessarily, but, you know, that's,
You're more engaged sometimes than if you don't,
Right.
for sure.
But I think for us, one thing that would be helpful is to make sure that the school, cause the school committee, again, the school committee members are all, we voted for all of them. They're all, even though they're
Right.
3 different towns. Make sure they understand that as far as we're concerned, ideally, and I understand this would be a huge challenge for them, but ideally, they would vote for a budget that's not the bare minimum, but actually something higher that they can then bring back down as they engage with the public more on this.
Well, I would
I
argue
think,
that.
Patrick, just to add clarity, and I don't think I'm wrong, I don't think the bare minimal usually gets voted for. It's a compromise in the middle, and that's how that whole thing kind of started.
Right.
And it's kind of something that both people and everyone can work with. And it happens as a process beforehand.
Yeah.
So that everything kind of moves forward. But, I mean, otherwise you probably, it won't pass and then you go back and do it again.
You're right,
That's
bare
what they're
minimum was the
afraid of.
wrong.
They're
was the
afraid
wrong
that it's
word.
gonna
Minimum,
fail.
I don't
That was the
think-
wrong
I don't
phrase.
think that's happened
That was the
ever.
wrong phrase, you're
but
right,
starting
yeah.
with, these are all the things that we would really like to have.
Right.
And then having it come back with the realization that, you know, we can only go with this amount.
Right.
And you end up with that
Right.
psychological high water mark that
Right.
nobody's really talking about. You start here and you really would like to get to
Right.
this point and not
Right,
to that point.
exactly.
Well, I'll, the school committee took an oath, like we took an oath when we became on the select board, and their oath was to provide, I'll argue adequate isn't good enough, education for the kids in the schools. That's what they need to advocate for, because
Right.
those kids don't have a voice.
Right.
Is there anything we can do between now and tomorrow night?
No,
Nothing, right?
No, I mean, other than,
stay in your lane, it's not your lane, we gotta stay in our own lane.
we have to stay in our own lane, I do
This-
think it's helpful to
That's
have.
the perfect
right,
example
yeah.
tonight,
Yeah,
to be, you said you were gonna attend tomorrow night for the school
A
committee.
lot of parents are.
But you're like the perfect example of the kind of enthusiasm that you're putting out there to help a smaller group make a better decision.
Well, I mean,
And you're all getting out there and saying, this is our town, this is what we like, this is, you know, this is what we can afford.
That's the same enthusiasm that helped pass the override last
Yeah.
year.
but I think also that, and I say this as a member of the DCC for years running, Newbury has been pretty good too. Meaning that we have supported education because the number of students that we have in the school, we've still gotten support from the rest of the town. We passed one override, what, 3-4 years ago? And we passed last year.
last year.
We passed one last year.
Probably pass another one this year. But, you know, it sounds this year like it's not gonna be just the schools either, right?
It depends, like I said, the numbers are pretty preliminary, but we've typically, utilized the formula where we say, okay, what's our new revenues, we have 600,000, so, whereas in the past, we'd fully fund sometimes the educational and then make cuts on the town side. What we started about, 15, 16 years ago was, municipal operating budgets account for about approximately 50% of our total budget, and educational, not just Triton, but education, Whittier, Essex Tech, counts for about 50% of our operating budget. So we commit generally 50% of the new revenues to each. Anything beyond that that either side is looking for would immediately go to an override proposal. Now, to your point, Patrick, it's like, we're not to say what they're going to give us in terms of an assessment, but our job is more to look towards, okay, how do we fund that number, whatever it is?
So I don't understand what Rowley is saying.
Well,
Maybe this isn't
everyone goes along with that, live within the Proposition 2.5 over,
Yeah.
can't.
No.
I mean, we have, but you can't. I mean, Triton's a big operation.
Yeah.
So,
What's their budget this year, Brett? Do you know, is it 60 million yet?
no.
The total budget? It was 52 last year. Yeah, do we have a total number?
I thought it was like about 52, 53.
Last year was 52. I don't know.
It's probably, I'm not sure where.
All right, don't worry
You
about it.
might not be able to find it.
Yeah.
It's on some table on some website.
Yeah.
Looked at
Yeah.
it 100 times, but I don't remember it. It seems like there's a sort of preemptive process, like, to me, the budgeting process should be, this is what we need.
Yeah.
Here it is. And I think that Brian's probably in the school committee is trying to preempt some of, knowing they're gonna get told no. Is hacking away until they can offer a more palatable number, and I think that's just starting to erode the process.
And
And
it's funny,
I'd rather have the sort of public debate around how to cut the things, that it's transparent and everybody knows you're cutting this person's job to make a number. And right now, it's a table exercise.
and it's funny, you might, if it was done the way Patrick's talking about, you might, if it was done, Brian might be going a little high, thinking he's gonna have to reduce it anyway, so it might come in more accurately if we knew that it was gonna
Right.
be kind of more legitimate,
It's always nauseating
I
every
think
year.
that's entirely possible, and I think, to your point, we set an idea of having 50-50 because our job is to decide how to make that happen.
Yep.
The school committee's job
Yep.
is to say to Brian, actually, this is what we need for education. And start here, and then it's up to, and the process should be a lot more. It just should be better.
Well, and that's why I started to talk about, we're gonna run out of enough real estate and commercial development to continue to fund our budget in the future.
Yeah.
In the small town of Newbury.
Oh, 100%.
Any volunteers for the DCC on Thursday?
You don't wanna go?
Of course I'm gonna go, but yeah, it's gonna be.
But I'll just, to bring it back to participation as far as community members is really important. There was only one person there, and he had done a lot of homework. A lot of homework. Crunching numbers and statistics and things of that nature. And it would be so much more valuable to have more people to bring that part of it to the table. Because sometimes, like we even sit up here, we have our own, we have our own agenda, but,
Right.
but, we may not speak completely for what the community is thinking about. So that bringing people in and getting them engaged is gonna be part of it's a big process, it's gonna be a huge process, but it's watching the people letting you know that this is how, this is what's going on as far as my financials, and I can't go any further, or, yes, I wanna go further, and I understand that there might be, some cuts, but we have to hear from people.
And one last point for me on this, I think I 100% agree, and I think we're here now in 2026, and we have 2 years to be ready for this in 2028, when it's gonna be, for one thing, a bigger number. But also just, it has to pass, or else, we lose the state funding for it, so, making sure that we build up that momentum, and the process the process is better by the time we get to 2028, so we're not meeting on a Tuesday worried about a Wednesday vote to then discuss again on Thursday, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
seriously crazy.
It's hard to prepare
It's crazy.
in less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
And the quickest way for a town not to be healthy is not to have good schools.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm into that.
So knowing how difficult, or the idea that you'd like more people to attend, why don't you guys invite people, some of your constituents,
I do.
tell them how important it is to go, attend the meeting, lure them in to come.
And then there's Whittier that's still hanging out there too.
We don't say the W word at the DCC, just so you know. The W word,
Going to those school committee buildings, school building
Yeah.
committee
Yeah.
buildings.
that would,
Is
the
the state, they're still pushing
the
towards the state.
DCC is, surrounding itself with, our own particular community. And so that, that's where the focus is.
Yeah.
But you're right, Alicia, it's looming.
Hopefully the state will pick that up.
Alicia, any meeting update?
No.
I do. Speaking of Whittier, Tracy and I went to the Whittier Regional Agreement Amendment Committee meeting last Wednesday, and it's interesting. I mean, by far, the regional agreement has to be changed. It was written in 1967, so it's ancient. It was written before Proposition 2.5, and the dialogue that happens, about how do you change it. We need to know how much a new Whittier school will cost to be able to change it, or so on and so forth. I mean, it's overwhelming. We're gonna step up to 2 meetings a month, I think, is what Angus Jennings, the chair, said. And we'll continue to work that process. And don't discount the fact that initially, both Whittier and NECC said that there could be possibility of different funding sources for money to make that school happen. Because it's rather unique, it's rather different, there's nothing like it in Massachusetts, there's a comparable situation in Colorado. So, yeah, we should worry about Whittier in the future, what might happen, but really don't know what might happen in terms of dollars, or when,
They were
or when
talking
even.
about tapping into higher education funds for that, right?
I mean, the state, in fact, you told me the state funded Whittier, they
Yes.
paid for Whittier, okay?
In 1967.
And they are interested in this concept of what Whittier's proposing to do with NECC. So, I mean, I know everyone says Whittier's gonna cost us X, and the
I'm not so
experts
sure.
think they know what X is, but no one knows what X is right now. And no one knows what the timing might be. It's certainly not as rapid as Triton is. It's not gonna be 2028, it's probably gonna be in 2030s.
If the regional agreement was not on the table, the Whittier School Building would be 6 months behind Triton in terms of process. But the regional agreement being on the table means that the clock it's 6 months now, for every month that goes by, it's,
Yeah.
it's just another month
Yeah,
behind
yeah,
the
yeah.
Triton process.
Well, if I could wave a magic wand, I would have the Commonwealth pay for a new Whittier like they did in 1967 and partner it with NECC and make that their dream come true. And I would have them fully fund the chapter 70 obligations to all these small communities, because I strongly believe the answer lies at the state level. They have the money. You can't get blood out of a stone in these small communities. I mean, if Triton got to $75 million, which eventually it's going to be, we can't override our way out of that, even if we wanted to. And so it's broken, it is beyond broken, and it's been broken for years. That's it, gonna have to write them another strongly worded letter.
Something like, the number of communities that are in hold harmless now in
Yeah.
chapter 70.
Over 300?
Yeah.
There's 351 cities and towns in the Commonwealth.
And over 300.
Over 300 of them are in the same boat as us.
Yeah.
You think they'd fix it? And they just keep funneling money into these gateway cities. They're flush with cash, flush with them. And look what's happening in communities like ours. We're losing mental health help. We're losing services that our children need. It's wrong, it's wrong.
Leslie,
Yes. Oh, for the DCC?
meeting updates.
I think Patrick's covered a lot of it, and, you know, my contribution to the conversation, I think, is that, tomorrow, I'm going to the ACES, and with, Kristen and Sadie. So we'll meet down at the Parker River, Refuge Building and go over some interesting ideas on waste management. There's like some problems with what to do with stuff. So I'm really interested in that, and I am looking forward to tomorrow's meeting. And there's two more after that. They're just like once a month, aren't they, Kristen? Yep. I'll bring snacks again too.
I looked at the survey they sent in the letter
Yeah.
inviting you. Were you able to fill in that information?
Yeah, I reached out, and the response was within 10 minutes they got back to me and were excited about that. And I explained the situation that, sitting on the select board, I thought it would be a good idea to be able to come to the board and let people know what kind of information that they're providing us for this, so.
Good. Look forward to those meeting updates.
What is it?
It's, can you explain it maybe a little better, because that's your knowledge.
There's a regional initiative that's kind of being led by the mayor of Newburyport, but the 5 regional towns, to get a little more momentum going locally to support the state's waste reduction goals. They have goals for 2030 and 2050 in terms of recycling and sustainability and just overall solid waste reduction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, so that, like, the questionnaire was pretty simple. Almost simple to the fact that it was like, well, who handles your waste management? It was like, Mello. That was basically the answer that, so what they're looking for is to how, instead of putting it all into one location, to make it more environmentally friendly, to even like repurpose and cut things down.
So you answered this for the town of Newbury?
Yeah.
Did you have Tracy help you?
I spoke with Tracy about, we had a conversation about it.
Because I don't think Mello handles the town's trash. That's not an accurate statement, is it?
Mello manages a transfer station.
Yeah.
They also provide private curbside pickup.
Private, but not public.
No,
Right.
but what I'm saying is that the bulk of the waste goes pretty much to the transfer station and for their pickup that you pay for. So that's, anything else, I mean, you can go to Georgetown, but
So the first meeting is information gathering about
Yep.
how do towns handle it now, both from a municipal and a sort of, individual residential level. So that's sort of what the survey was, just the information gathering. And I think tomorrow there are speakers from the state who are sort of telling towns about resources the states can help with at a local level. I think the second meeting is looking at like all the other private groups, like Amello or, Waste Management.
So
And
did you provide an answer from the town?
Sadie didn't she, as the lead?
yeah,
Okay,
we talked
okay.
with other people. I mean, again, it was a very informal Googleable survey. It was just kind of aggregating some of the information
Right.
ahead of time to help with the agenda tomorrow, so.
And with my answers, I consulted with both Sadie and Kristen.
Excellent, excellent.
Thank you.
Good. Enjoy the meeting tomorrow.
I appreciate that you're coming, Leslie, that's
Enjoy
great.
DCC Thursday
I'm
night.
curious to
No
see
snow, Kristen.
what you
Yeah,
come
I
back
know.
with.
Yeah.
I'm
I
curious
think,
what you come
I
back
think
with.
what people could be worried about, cause shooting from the hip, is everyone is concerned about all the things that we should be doing, but they're very lucky to have the transfer station in a lot of ways. And if that disappears,
Oh, God, no.
Yeah.
No, we can't
So-
lose that transfer station.
Why
And,
would we lose
and there's a lot of our surrounding communities that have,
because it's
they
very,
come out and they
very,
use it as well.
there's no money made, it's a kind of, it's a marginal operation as it is. And if there's a lot of rules and regulations and this and that and,
Well,
Well-
it's pay as you throw, cause I know where I live close to Georgetown, that side, my husband sometimes goes to that dump too.
I mean,
Pays
everyone
over
can get a dumpster or go to private, but they like the transfer
It's
station
a
too.
little bit of a different setup, though.
there. Yeah, it's a big difference setup, but, yeah.
You can't just go in with your dump truck and just back up and offload whatever happens to be in the back of there.
Well, we have bags, trash bags.
No, but it is a different setup in Georgetown.
Jeff, did you have any?
Yeah,
Meeting updates?
Jeff? Okay. Next item, review and approve meeting minutes.
I move to approve the draft meeting minutes of January 27th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Abstaining? No, set.
I motion to sign warrants.
Motion signed once, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Move to adjourn.
Motion to
We were
adjourn.
quick on that trigger, aren't you?
It's snowing.
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.